You were the surprise of these elections. You were mentioning the Iglesia ni Cristo. What was your winning strategy? You have worked with the president. How was your relationship with him?
People thought I was crazy for running. Many people came out to support him. Panalo nga tayo. We did it.
With 20.9 million votes, today's subject pleasantly surprised the nation and perhaps himself by landing number 2 in the 2025 senatorial elections. Please welcome to Editor's Notes, Senator Bam Aquino.
Hi, Joanne. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Were
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for making time. Were you really surprised?
Sobra. We were so surprised with the ranking. Nobody thought we would make it that high. And honestly, everything just came together last week. And with all of the volunteers really doing their best, the campaign doing its best also, I think there was enough of a bump to get us to number 2.
What was your most fervent hope? Realistic hope?
Realistic, actually, ang alam ko 8 eh. In my heart, I was gunning for 8. In the last surveys, we were going up already.
Yes.
And I think by the first survey in May, pasok na kami sa top 12
Yes.
And our trajectory was going up. So I was saying, kaya ko mag-8, kaya mag-8. And everyone else was saying, baka 8 to 10, di ba?
Okay.
And then we got the support from Iglesia.
Yes.
So sabi ko, baka kaya pa mag-6. Maybe 6 to 8 na tayo. And going into the last day, I thought, sabi ko, I think I'm gonna win, but probably second half, no? So finally, when I got to our counting gathering, gulat na lang ako, number 2 bigla. And I think everybody was really surprised. I think the whole country was surprised that many people came out to support Rin.
Senator Kiko said he thought it was fake news that he landed in number 5. Did a thought cross your mind that it was fake news that you're number 2?
No, because I was there in front of everyone. So nangyari, I refused to go to the counting. I was at home.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at my phone. In fact, nakabaliktad yung telepono ko. I was with my kids, no? And they were watching cartoons or something. And then, magda 9 p.m. na. Sabi ko, I remember in 2022, by 9 p.m., naglalasing na yung mga tao, di ba? Kasi nalungkot na sila, di ba? May results na. So, sabi ko, by now, siguro alam na dapat.
Yeah.
And I said, am I gonna look at my phone? Am I gonna peek at my phone? And so I peeked. Tapos nakita ko, napakaraming messages. Puro congrats.
Wow.
Yeah. So I go, looks okay. Looks like we made it.
Yeah.
So I called up Timmy, my wife, who was there at the counting with my parents. Oh no, did we make it? Yeah, I think we made it. Results are still coming in, but I think we made it. Of course, yung mga anak ko, they were jumping on the bed, no, and they were really happy. Sabi ko, sige, I'm gonna go there, kasi malapit lang naman. I'm gonna go there, and let's talk about it, kung anong mangyayari. So on the way, nakikita ko na yung mga messages, congrats, but no references to ranking.
Yes.
When I finally got to the area, nagulat na lang ako, that big screen, no? Number 2. Sabi ko, wow, that's really good. Anong porsyento na ba itong pumasok? Kasi, di ba, sometimes...
24, 37, yeah.
Sometimes you're high, then another bulk of numbers comes in, another areas come in from another area. So, bababa ka, di ba? Sabi ko, baka naman mag-normalize pa to. Hindi, medyo mataas na yung percentage of votes cast and that was being counted. And it held up all the way until 10 or 11. By 11, more or less, people were calling it na kasi we breached the threshold of votes that you needed, at least sa computation namin. So I go, wow.
Which was what? How much?
Initially, we thought we needed 16 and we hit 16 million relatively early. So I go, shucks, I guess, panalo nga tayo. And then, eventually, the number held. Sabi ko, baka that'll slip to number 4, number 5.
Yeah.
Maybe Sen Kiko will slip to number 7, di ba?
Yeah.
But we held at 2 and 5. So, until the end, then people started to come to the counting. And, of course, all of the campaigners who really gave it their all, nag-iiyakan na, naglabas na ng inumin yung mga ibang tao to celebrate.
Yeah.
And the media came. That was, now it's history.
Yeah.
Number 2 showing, which is totally unexpected.
Yeah, you were the surprise of these elections. And what gave you hope that you would make it to at least number 8, as you were saying?
On the ground. So, Joanne, I started out at 24.
My goodness.
So I always tell this story. May of 2024, the survey that came out a year before the elections, I was number 24.
Wow.
And people thought I was crazy for running.
Well,
Nababaliw na ata to si Bam na tatakbo at number 24, di ba?
So, were you?
No, I had faith. I had faith. I knew that it could be done, and I knew that with God's grace and hard work, you could really go up in the ranking. So that was 1 year before the elections.
Okay.
So, alam mo rin yung pakiramdam na number 24 ka.
Okay.
Like people, of course, when they see you, parang, kaya ko to You know? Kasi up to that point, I've been out of politics for 5 years already.
Okay, 5 years, yeah.
So, by 2024, it's been 5 years. 2025, it's been 6 years.
6 years,
diba?
one term.
Tagal yun.
Yeah,
That's a lifetime in politics. So, when I declared that I wanted to go back to politics, talagang parang nakalimutan ka na. And that year was basically a year of hard work, and a lot of people supported, a lot of volunteers really, gave it their all. And from May 2024 to May 2025, maramdaman mo talaga You get to feel the difference in the way that people are reacting. Of course, the campaign ran its message of libreng kolehiyo, siguradong trabaho.
Yes.
And by the end of the campaign, ramdam mo talaga on the ground that people were responding to the message. They wanted to see other faces in the Senate. And ang raming volunteers lumabas. They weren't there in May of 2024. I think maraming malungkot pa May of 2024.
Yeah.
Baka may hangover pa ng 2022.
Yeah.
Pero by May of 2025, people were coming out. They were printing their own materials. They were campaigning on their own. They were, nagugulat na lang ako, may mga billboards kami nakikita kasi may nagdo-donate na mga space sa billboards. And you could feel it on the ground that people, parang you felt that they wanted to see you back. And that was really different from May of 2024, October, which was the filing, even February, which was the start of the campaign. But maramdaman mo siya unti-unting dumadami yung suporta.
But how different was it compared to May 2022? You think it's a reservoir of anger, of trying to prove a point, wanting to make a difference?
Maybe it's more of wanting to make a difference or wanting to see some changes in government. No, hindi siya anger. Definitely hindi siya anger. Pero marami sa mga lumabas at nangampanya ng 2022, it took them some time before they came out in 2025. They didn't come out automatically.
Really?
Yeah. So
many were heartbroken.
Many were heartbroken, but by April and by May, nandun na sila. Ang nangyari kasi in 2022, and of course I ran the campaign of VP Lenny at that time. Yung mga kaedad natin, yung lumabas, di ba?
Yeah.
We came out, we supported her, and then the young people followed in the big rallies, right?
Okay.
Those rallies were huge because of young people. But by the time that they were there, hindi na sila makaboto kasi hindi sila registered. Marami ring underage in those huge rallies. And it was the young people, I think, after the 2022 elections, who felt a spark because of that campaign. Malungkot, pero may spark. Sila yung nag-register. Sila yung unang nangampanya para sa amin ni Kiko. And by April and May, maybe their kuyas, ates, and parents also followed.
And so they led the surge.
I would say so. Sila yung nagsimula. Sila rin nagtapos, pero by the time nagtapos yung kampanya, marami na rin silang kasama.
Nahatak.
And up to the last day of the campaign, people would come up to me and say, Sen, yung anak ko, ikaw yung kinakampanya. Yung anak ko, hindi ako kakausapin kung hindi kita iboto. So they were campaigning for me and for Kiko. And I think, the fact that they were giving it their all and they were registered, they were ready and willing to vote, and they were campaigning. Palagi ko yan yung talagang nag-surge to number 2 yung numbers namin, number 5 for Senator Kiko.
You were mentioning the Iglesia ni Cristo a while ago. How were you able to win their confidence?
So usually, you really go and you talk about your platform, you talk about what you want to do for the country. And I think they really liked what I said, though. Sabi ko, I'm going to focus on education.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on libreng kolehiyo, siguradong trabaho. 2019, they didn't support me, by the way. And I lost only by 200,000 votes in 2019. So it was a big thing na hindi ako nasuportahan in 2019. But even after 2019, I kept the relationship with the leaders of Iglesia all the way until 2025. So by the time that we were doing the interviews, hindi na yan parang bagong kausap. Matagal ko na silang kausap rin. And we've partnered on different things when I was a senator. So I'd like to think yung the track record and the relationship also really got me that support. And in the end, it proved to be very important. No?
Yes, it did. Who was your first caller outside the family? After
Kiko.
You had won? Really?
Yeah, I called him first.
You called him?
I called him.
And to congratulate him?
Yes. And
what did you say to each other?
We did it. I could hear Ate Sharon in the background shouting and screaming, congratulating also. But siya yung pinakauna kong tinawagan.
Yeah. You were saying he was your campaign manager?
In 2013.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So there are ties that bind both of you. So you were 24 and you ended up number 2. Do you have a lucky number?
7.
7.
7. Pero yung kutob ko talaga, 8. And coming from 24, 8 is a big goal. Kami lang ni Congressman, now Senator-elect Marcoleta, yung wala sa top 20. Everybody else, when they started, nandun na sila eh.
Even Kiko was in the top 20?
Even Kiko was maybe top 12 or top 13 because he just ran for vice president.
Yeah.
So ano pa siya, very present pa siya. To get that far and to win and to eventually rank. And si Senator Kiko rin, who was fluctuating, wala talaga sa consideration set namin yung top 5. As in, zero conversation was about being in the top 5. Everything was 8. Siguro kung swertihan ka, pwede ka mag 6. But no one ever mentioned 5 and up.
What was your winning strategy? Somebody told me it was Pangasinan to Panay.
Alam mo, these days, ang raming analysts, di ba? They're all wrong and they're all right.
How are they right?
They're all wrong kasi they don't see everything. And they're all right because they're noticing small things. And palagay ko, when you put it all together, that was why nanalo. It's not just one thing. Kasi some people will say, it's because of his single messaging. Tama. Or some people will say, it's because geographically, Pangasinan to Panay. In fact, they said Lucena to Lingayen to Lucena, but we actually had a bigger
corridor.
A bigger corridor, di ba? So tama rin yun.
Yeah.
So everyone's correct, everyone's also wrong. I think everything put together was really it. Some people will say, it's young people. Tama rin.
Yeah.
But it was also the big groups.
As a strategist, how did you sift the chaff from the grain with all this analysis coming in and all the advice you were getting?
We got a lot of bad advice.
So
sa totoo lang, kung sumunod kami sa mga advice nung una, talo kami.
Talaga?
Sa totoo lang. But,
what good advice
discipline.
did you follow? Discipline.
You have to be disciplined with your plan. You have to execute the plan. And hindi ka pwedeng pabago-bago just because a new idea comes up. I think that was one thing that we really tried to execute. And I have to credit my team. My team has been with me since 2013.
Yeah.
In fact, yung ilan sa kanila, 2010 pa kay Pinoy pa namin kasama. So, 2010, 2013, 2016 ni Lenny, where she won. 2019, where I lost. 2022 for the presidency with Lenny, and then this one. So, many of them are 5 or 6 campaigns together. And we all look young, I'd like to think, pero mga veterano na eh. And that team, working together, setting aside egos, a mature team, very disciplined and mature team who knew their roles and were executing their roles. I think ang laking bagay nun towards the end goal.
Part of the demographic you're talking about, one is our managing editor, Paolo.
I'm not 56.
Are you a millennial? Hardcore millennial?
Paolo, can I put you in the spot? Can you ask a question?
I have a question actually. As one of the most prominent members of the Aquino family right now, was there added pressure? Because it seems like you're the only one left on the national spotlight.
Hindi siya pressure eh. In fact, I wouldn't say pressure kasi we came from nobody had any position at all. Diba? So in fact, wala siyang pressure at all. Kasi
pressure to reclaim lost ground.
No, honestly, it wasn't pressure to reclaim lost ground.
No.
But as soon as the campaign started, many of my cousins really helped out, including Ate Bolsi, Ate Jackie, my pamangkin Iyo. They were my surrogates. They would represent me in different areas. Ate Bolsi, of course, campaigned. My mom, of course, became viral, di ba? My viral sensation mother, di ba? Gamilyones lang naman yung views niya, di ba?
Diba?
So, I mean, lahat tumulong. My cousin Lenlen also won in Malabon. So, he's congressman now. That's Lenlen Oreta, former mayor, now Congressman Oreta. So, and I have another cousin, si Enzo, who is a councilor also in Malabon. But we all came from not having any position. Walang incumbent. So, walang pressure in that sense, di ba?
Talagang but you're the Aquino. In fact, your name, Bam, stands for...
My name is from the Flintstones. Si Bam Bam, the cartoon character.
Oh, really?
Walang connection sa... But my real name is Paulo Benigno.
It must carry a weight. I mean, not a weight, not a burden, but a certain stature and responsibility because you have your grandfather and your uncle and your cousin's name. Yeah.
Pero ano siya, Joanne eh. I think if you look at the Aquinos and Philippine history, ups and downs eh.
Yeah.
You know? Ups and downs. May time na you're at the highest position. May time na nakakulong ka.
Yeah.
May time na pinatay ka.
Yeah.
May time na ikaw yung pinaka-trolled to death at talagang binabo yung pangalan mo. Pero may time na nananalo ka rin, di ba?
Yeah.
So, I think having seen all of that, hindi na siya pressure or burden. You know, you want to live up to the ideals that your relatives have had, di ba? I mean, idol ko pa rin si Tito Ninoy, of course, Tita Cory, Pinoy, Tito Butch, Tita Tessie. I mean, these are relatives who gave so much for the country. Hindi siya burden. I think it's more of an inspiration. Parang you want to live up to the name, pero, you know, you are who you are.
Exactly.
And hindi siya magiging pabigat.
Yeah.
Dapat magiging, ano mo siya, North Star mo siya. Siya yung gusto mong habulin, di ba? Definitely, definitely.
In fact, your cousin's death anniversary is this June.
Yep.
What did you learn from him in terms of leadership or in terms of values?
You know, si Pinoy, nakakamiss talaga si Pinoy. I really miss him. I miss him a lot, you know. I spent more time with him when he wasn't president anymore. Nung presidente siya, I hardly visited him. Kasi I didn't want to be that relative na, alam mo yun, yung umaligid-aligid sa Malacanang, di ba? So, very few times lang when he was president. But after he was president, that's when I would see him more. I'd be galing sa Senado, I'd bring food, pupunta akong times, magdi-dinner kami or lalabas kami. Nakakamiss siya because he's one of the people na yung pagmamahal niya sa bayan was very pure. You know, it was very, very pure. I think a lot of people misunderstood him. Some people thought he was aloof.
Yeah.
But he was actually very shy.
Yeah.
You know, you knew him, di ba?
I knew him.
So, na-misunderstand siya in that sense. No? That he was very guarded also, very shy, but his love for the country was pure. Walang hiningi, walang kapalit, you know, until he passed away. I know that history will look on Pinoy in a kinder light, you know. And I think it's already starting.
Why didn't you run under the Liberal Party?
It was time for a change in 2019. There were some issues with some people in the party also. So when I decided to run again, this new party which we set up for Lenny in 2022, KNP, they invited me to be chairperson of the party.
Also, it existed now.
Yes.
In
So nabuo yun for Lenny in 2022. But she decided to run as an independent. And many of the leaders of KNP, puro mga millennial. Mga 35, 37.
Parang ikaw.
Parang si Paulo. Ako na yung matanda at 48. And that group, many of them were the provincial heads of the Lenny campaign. So parang ito sa perfect fit. And sabi nila, if you're gonna run again, we'd like you to be the chairperson of this new party. And it's a maganda siyang senyales eh. It's the youngest political party in the Philippines, composed of young, effective leaders. And, you know, nung inalok ako to be the leader of that party, how can you say no, di ba?
Exactly. What does your victory mean for the opposition? Who is the real opposition?
Ako, you know, I ran as an independent. And I say independent in terms of independent ako sa administrasyon, independent ako sa PDP Laban.
Okay.
I don't have to follow yung kanilang storyline. I don't have to follow kung ano yung kanilang narrative o yung gusto nila. We can chart our own course. And I think the victory with those huge numbers show that there are a lot of Filipinos who want, public servants who will focus on education, food, focus on the basics that many of our countrymen don't have, will focus on fighting corruption. I think there are many Filipinos who want to see that. You see it also in different areas, no? Maraming upset, maraming surprise victories here and there. At least sa pananaw ko, maraming mga Pilipino naghahanap ng bago. Naghahanap ng iba naman, no? So, once Senate starts, that's in July, you have to really focus on working, fulfilling your campaign promises. At in my case, it's really focusing on education and employability, libreng kolehiyo, siguradong trabaho. And I'd like to think, kaya ako binoto kasi gusto rin yan ng mga tao. They want people who will focus on things which are important for them. No?
You have worked with the president in the Senate. You were colleagues, weren't you?
Yes.
How was your relationship with him? Was there like, any distinction?
Very cordial.
Very cordial.
Yeah, very cordial. To be fair, very, very cordial. We worked on the SK Reform Bill together. Hindi naman kami nag-hangout or anything like that. Pero pag may mga importanteng bagay para sa bayan, we are able to work together naman.
That augurs well for the nation, even now.
I've always said this from the beginning. In fact, maraming tumaas yung kilay dito. No? But sabi ko, para sa bayan, you have to work with anyone who's willing to help. Diba? Of course, the Free College Law was signed during President Duterte's time.
Yeah.
And the SK Reform Act, magka-partner kami ni President Marcos on that law, which, of course, revolutionized the sangguniang kabataan in our country. So kung may mahalaga para sa bayan, you set aside all your differences, you work together. I think, ganun dapat, di ba? Ganun dapat.
Yeah. That's the focus. What matters most to Bam Aquino?
God, of course. Joanne, itong laban na to was really God's grace. Like, there's no other way to characterize this fight, no? It was a leap of faith. I remember nung nag-24 ako and I wasn't expecting to be 24 to 28 survey last year. May mga kaibigan ako and I have a friend who's also a pastor who said, sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. And your leap of faith, it's not just faith in God, it's also faith in the people.
Yeah.
Diba? So, I have to say that now, that this was really God-given. And it was so tremendous. The results were so incredible na walang ibang pwedeng matingnan kung hindi yon. So, I hope I will live up to that, no?
Napaiyak ka ba?
No.
Nung nanalo ka?
No. Hindi.
What makes you cry?
Mababaw naman luha ko but not politics.
You didn't cry in 2019, in 2022?
No. Kailangan matigas yung tiyan mo sa politika, Joanne. Pero kung may panood akong sine na nakakayak, iyak talaga ako. Pero sa politika, hindi pwede. Kailangan matigas yung tiyan mo.
What makes you happy?
Oh, what made me the happiest in this campaign, marami. Obviously, marami. But one of the constant things that kept me really inspired was when we would go around, either may magulang o may estudyanteng lalapit, magsasabi na, Sen, nakatapos ako dahil sa batas mo. Kahit kanina. No? Kahit kanina. Even earlier, di ba, when we were going up. Yeah. One of the graduates from PUP, kanina lumapit siya. That's the best. That's the best feeling. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, may nagawa kang mabuti sa buhay nila di ba? Parang hindi sayang yung trabaho mo. And iba rin kapag magulang. Sen, yung anak ko, nurse na. Dahil sa batas mo. And that's a really, really high moment. High moments yun in the campaign. Almost every day, we had someone, doon medyo naiyak ako doon. Yun, maiiyak ako doon.
At the end of the day, what do you thank God?
God, my family, my volunteers, our campaign team, maraming papasalamatan. Di ba they say success has many mothers, di ba?
Yeah.
Totoo naman it wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just Lingayen to Lucena. It wasn't just single messaging. It wasn't just this big group. It was everything and everyone. Maraming tumulong, Joanne. And that spirit of people volunteering, helping out, that's something you can't buy. Hindi mo mabibili yun, di ba? And for that to happen to me and to have these results, I think is something to be grateful for.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Senator.
Salamat.
Okay. Sorry.